What's up, guys? Elijah here, and welcome back to another episode of EXTOL We. And this week, Alston, Alan, Christian, Bryce are my extras, and I am the ordinary. Now, the videos that went live this last week were walking by faith and a simple request. Now, both of those videos were separated by 2 weeks because back in the past, in 2021, I got off of my pace. I didn't have a video that was being posted live. Not sure how I did that, but in asking God, what am I supposed to do? He said, those two videos, those are the videos that are paired together. See what application I have for you. Guys, it's so incredibly beautiful getting to see how I was pressing into life experiences with my friend Alston during that time period back in 2021 as he was becoming a father and just feeling so overwhelmed in this context of faith where it's like, I'm just feeling desperate for you, God. Like this is impossible. I feel like I'm way outside of my depth and I'm in this storm of life that I feel like you don't even care. Like, why would you make me responsible for this vision and this leadership in this child's life? Like, I don't think I have what it takes to be a good dad. Both he and I were experiencing a lot of those same feelings, and then just life with my business and all of the things of life during that time season, I was just feeling so overwhelmed. But dealing with those things with my friend Alston, pressing into those, and that then I had to have lunch with my friend Alan. We grabbed some Qdoba and we're having lunch up in the atrium in the business where I was working at that time. And we were both dreaming of this context of a relational community where we're in this withward process of life together in faith, where we're calling out destiny and the deep things of God in one another in a deep, intimate space that's causing us to come to life in God, in who we are and the good works that he has for us. And that I remember both of us sat there, two grown men eating their lunches, crying together about these deep heart longings that we have with God about things yet to come. It's so beautiful then that Pastor B, he's got this lovely thing that he does with Jeremiah 33:3, that when he sees 3:33 on his clock, that he texts a friend, they text that back and forth, and it's based around Jeremiah 3:33 that says, call to me and I will show you great and unsearchable things which you do not know. The context where Jeremiah receives this declaration from the Lord, he's under the watch of the guard. Like the guy's on lockdown, like he's pinned down. But in that space, that God comes to him and says, though you're on lockdown, I'm going to show you great and unsearchable things in this context that you cannot know about the future, such that when you get out of this space and you're moving forward and you break into what I have for you, you can say, wow, God had my good in mind all along to prosper me and have a future and a hope and not to harm me. It was so incredibly beautiful. Then seeing that as I continued forward in that context, I was just dragging bottom. I was coming into year one. I didn't know if I could keep up Extraordinary Life with Elijah for another 2.5 years, but I just kept next video, and days turned into weeks, that turned into months, that turned into years, and that I finished my race of faith with God as I persevered in grace and faith to allow the good works that God had for me to be expressed through my life, and that he who began the good work finished the work through me as I partnered with him. So beautiful then getting to see that as those videos were going live, and especially that second video, a simple request based around my interaction with my friend Alan, that I was up on the mountain with Christian, Bryce, and Alan having this powerful encounter with the Lord as that video was going live. That was the fulfillment of the things that we were longing for 3.5 years ago in the past. A family, there are some experiences in God that are so beautiful, so precious, so valuable, that they're not meant for context and telling on a worldwide stage. But suffice to say, it was so beautiful that getting to see how the four of us men together on the mountain had this powerful experience in the Lord, where the light of God's glory as revealed in our identities broke forward in a context where we're just standing in this context, enjoying one another in who we are in God. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of Gideon, it was the basis of the Valor Man camp, that Gideon was in this wine press threshing grain. He was so afraid of the enemies of God's people. And the angel of the Lord comes to Gideon and says, man of valor. The Gideon's so beat down, so hopeless. He looks around, he's like, man of valor, who are you speaking to? I'll go find him for you. The angel's like, no, it's you. Gideon gets a little feisty with the angel. He starts complaining against him. He's like, I've heard about the mighty works of the Lord that were in the past. Where are they at in our day and area? Like, where you at, angel? And the angel says, well, good news. I'm going to do those mighty works through you. Then Gideon faints off of it. He doesn't get all feisty with the angel. All of a sudden, then he starts getting all fearful. He's like, oh man, my tribe, like of all the tribes of Israel, my family is the weakest. And then in my family, those tribes of my family, like my family is the weakest. And then I'm the weakest one in my entire family. Angel just listens to him. And finally, when he gets to the end of his whining and pity party, he says, good to know, go in the faith that you have then. It's so beautiful then seeing how then God draws Gideon up out of the winepress and then calls him out into mighty works in this whole process that culminates in Gideon standing on this massive ridge overlooking the enemies of the Lord with nothing but a torch covered with a jar, blows a horn and then smashes the jars to reveal all of the lights, and God works a mighty victory through his life. And it's been so incredibly beautiful then to consider how back in that time in 2021, I felt so incredibly weak. I've been going through some incredibly difficult life circumstances in ministry and personal relationships and business. And I was saying, Lord, where are you at? Like, where are you showing up that reveals who you've said that you are in scripture? I'm not seeing it, man. Like, what you gonna do? But then God comes and says, hey, mighty man of valor, I'm calling you out to let your light shine before all mankind that they can see your good works and glorify me. Now stand up and start making some videos. I said, oh man, Lord, I'm kind of overwhelmed here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I can keep this up for 3.5 years. And he said, hey man, you're the man of valor. Start taking steps. That's so beautiful then, pulling this all together to then consider our lives like the jar of alabaster that Mary comes and breaks on the feet of the Lord and washes his feet with her tears. That if you consider our lives as being these broken vessels, these cracked and broken jars that contain the light of life within us, that as Jesus calls us to come and stand on a hill, a city on a hill cannot be hidden, and that we are the light of the world and that he's called us to shine, but that as we come, these cracked, broken vessels with the light of life in it, that we then lift up the trumpet of salvation and that we trumpet the praises of our King on the mountain, and that we throw ourselves on the rock of ages. The one who throws themselves on my life will be broken, but he on whom it falls will be crushed. But that we take our lives of our own free will, that he has set us free. And he said, cast yourself on me to be broken, and that we allow these jars of alabaster that can't allow the beauty that's on the inside to come out unless they're smashed at the feet of Jesus, but that we break them before the feet of Jesus and allow our light to shine, that then God works a mighty victory through our lives as we hear what he has said about us. This is my son whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him. Family, as I heard that call so long ago, and I said, Lord, this is a hard thing. I don't think I've got what it takes. Like, do you understand how wounded I am? Do you understand how little I know about your ways to bring about this great victory? And where are all my men at? It's just me. And God says, well, my man of valor, go in the strength that you have. That as I move forward in time, having no idea what I was doing, and that I'd make a video, and that days turned into weeks, that turned into months, that turned into years, that then here I was standing on a mountaintop with 3 other men in this beautiful place of affirmation of the Lord, breaking open our lives before him, letting our lights shine, crying out with everything that was in us to say, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. And that fire descended upon the lives of 4 men and consumed the sacrifice of our lives in a holy and pleasing expression of living sacrifice in response to his great mercy. So family, my encouragement to you is, out of wherever you find yourself in life, if you find yourself on lockdown under the watch of the temple guard and you're like, I ain't going nowhere, know that in that space that you are qualified to hear great and unsearchable things from the Lord that you cannot know. And that as you hear the declarations over your life and say, I will arise in the strength that I do have, and I will begin walking forward by faith, one step at a time to the place that God is calling me to, that God will lead you through the doors of your captivity, out of the chains that are binding you and holding you down. He will shake everything free as he shakes you out, to move you forward into the place that he has prepared for you, that he has plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. And that as you walk into that space, just break open this jar of your life to let your light shine, and you lift up a mighty shout, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. That as you walk in the consistent actions of faith over time, that its fullness in you as a representation of the Father's faithfulness in your life, who cannot fail even when you do, that you will look back in time and see that his plans were in place all along and that he has only served to please your heart in the overflow of his goodness. Family, if you subscribe to what I'm doing, then hit the button, hit it, and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on all of our lives, going in the strength that we have. I love you guys lots, and I will see you in the next video.